The Rockets Chop Shop is your one-stop shop for all your basketball needs for highlights, analysis, podcasts. We do it all here at the Rockets Chop Shop. Make sure you hit the like button on the videos that you watch if you enjoy them. Hit the subscribe button to get notifications from all the great drops that we have on the channel. Also, you can visit the Chop Shop merch store and get you some of the swaggiest gear in the Houston Rockets kingdom. And if you want, you can always support the channel directly through donations. And if you want, you can support us through our partnerships with our sponsors. The Rockets Chop Shop is made by fans for fans, and we're going to keep rocking and keep dropping that heat.
This is something I know.
What is up, CSGs? We have some breaking news here on the Rockets Chop Shop. We got to drop it for y'all boys. And the day has finally come where Kevin Porter Jr. has been traded by the Houston Rockets, and the details of the trade are as follows. So the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to be sending the Houston Rockets Jeremiah Robinson Earl, who has a $1.9 million contract, and former Houston Rockets legend Victor Oladipo, who has a $9.45 million contract in return for Kevin Porter Jr., who the Rockets are going to be sending out with 2 second-round picks, a Minnesota 2027 second-round pick, and a Milwaukee 2028 second-round pick. The Houston Rockets also generated $4.5 million trade exception from the trade, since they're sending out more salary than they're getting back. So the Kevin Porter Jr. ordeal is over. I got my man Space with me. We're about to chop it up about this. Now, Space, bro, this is obviously there's been a lot going on with KPJ, kind of a dark cloud going over the Rockets for the past few months since this incident occurred. I'm glad they were able to pivot from it, because it kind of ties into what we've talked about. We did, I did a live stream yesterday with the team, and they have some holes on the team. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. But first of all, what is your reaction to the Kevin Porter Jr. trade?
I'm really usually tough on Stone and how Stone do his trades and everything like that. But I got to give him some little kudos on this one. He got it done quickly before the season. It's not going to be a distraction. And for what we gave up to get Kevin Porter Jr., if you're looking at it in like big picture, we actually got some assets back for him that we can eventually flip down the line to help this team. Like you said, we do have a couple of holes, I think. Backup shooting guard, or either rim protection type big that I know a lot of the fan base is clamoring that we need to get. And to say he flipped Kevin Porter Jr. for something positive and actually got it done fairly quickly, I got to give him some kudos, and I'm low key impressed by this little trade. I'm not gonna even lie.
Yeah, I agree. I think the trade in a vacuum is the best they could do with a bad situation, right? You get, obviously, Kevin Porter made himself unplayable for any team in the NBA right now. And the Oklahoma City Thunder did come out and say that as soon as it's done, they waiving him. So he's not playing this season for sure. But you think about the moves. I think what the worst case scenario on the basketball side for the Rockets was Kevin Porter not playing while also occupying that $15 million cap space on their books, so they can't upgrade the team. And then, so the only method they had out of that was trading him away and trying to free up the cap space. Because you look at what we get back. We get back Victor Oladipo. He's an expiring salary, and this year, and so and Jeremiah Robinson Earl, he's only making $1.9 million, and next year is a team option, so he's damn near an expiring salary as well. So roughly about $11 million in expirings back, and you free up that spot for Kevin Porter Jr. To be able to use it, and with the additional traded player exception, I would say it's good that they made that move. If we step back though, then I know you probably agree with me on this. How we got to this point was actually bad moves that led us to have to clean up a mistake, which has been a pattern of Rafael Stone over his tenure as a Houston Rockets GM, is making a bad move, then fixing it. And to me, my problem with and I'm with you. You know, this was a good move. My problem with people, how they assess Stone's performance is they ignore the stuff that we have to clean up, and they look at only the after effects of, man, that was a great move, but why do we have to make that move in the first place? I mean, you think about the KPJ thing, bro. Why give him a contract when the competition was nobody? You feel me? They could have slow played it. I think their assessment of him was that they thought they gave him a contract to allow him to play into being an all-star level player so they could pay him more. That's what they sold him. And for the Rockets, it gave him some flexibility. But, you know, to give a guy 80 something million and, you know, now have to do this, unload 2 additional picks after fumbling hella picks during the whole fiasco with our free agency and all the things that happened over leading up to that with the handling of the tie and all those type of players trying to get make room for Brooke Lopez. It is like a big mess that has to be cleaned up, but I'm just glad it's over with at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he. This is like a cycle with Raphael. Like you said, he does moves, the Tice move, the Oladipos, the first
Mm-hmm.
Oladipo, and he has to come later and trade them away and fix those moves. What really is starting to concern me is, will he do a move that he can't wiggle out of so quickly?
Mm.
You know, Dylan Brooks, I love him of what he's going to bring eventually, but let's say that goes awry, go haywire. How easily do you think he'll be able to get from under that contract and be able to move him without giving up some more assets for another team to take on Dylan Brooks? Now I'm just putting that out as a example because we know Tari's coming and Dylan Brooks. It's been preseason, but I've been almost wishy washy on what he's been doing. Like I haven't been just over the top ecstatic, elated about what he's bringing, but I'm still willing to give him a shot, because I know what he can do and what he can become. But like you always said, is this the team where he will be willing to take a step back to let the other guys flourish and do that? Now, this not Team Canada where you got other all stars on your team or all star level teammates, to where naturally he would have to be the third, fourth in the pecking order. Um, I'm still thinking he's still probably trying to work out and find his niche on his team. But what if that goes bad and he don't? How quickly will Raphael Stone be able to get up from under this contract? Because that's a lot of guaranteed money and some guaranteed years. Um, so with this Kevin Porter Jr. trade, I am, fairly impressed, like I said before, but I don't think he can keep doing, these type of trades and coming away unscathed in the long run. I think eventually, if he keep doing stuff like this, it's gonna come back to bite us in the long run, and it may keep us from being a true contender or, moving up into the like being a straight playoff team. So I'm gonna be reserved on most of my. Um, I ain't gonna be his harshest critic as of yet, but I'm keeping an eye out for that. I'm really keeping an eye on for that.
No, that's going to be the point, is really trying to assess whether Stone has the eye for managing a contender. And like we've been talking about, I know people hate when we get technical about, okay, you've given up this pick. This stuff matters, bro. Like at this point, with the higher up you get in the game, as the talent gets better, you win on the boundaries, right? You win on the boundaries. You win on the boundaries with making smart GM moves. As a coach, you win on the boundaries making adjustments. So these are things that we're going to see. I think we have the coaching part down. As far as the general manager, we're going to see, because now there's no excuses for the team and the moves he makes. Even with this, you look at the like, you pointed out the holes on the team. What are they going to do with this salary? For me, Robinson Earl, 6'8", he's a 34% 3-point shooter, smart player, Villanova guy. I don't know. They might just waive him because who are you going to put him in for on the roster already? Because we have a lot of forwards, and what we need is some guards and, like you point out, a big man that could give us a different look on the team. And so, are they going to go after a big or another guard? So I'm looking at the roster right now. Tate making about 6 or 7 million. I know a lot of people try to trade him. If you combine that with the VO salary, that only gets you to about 15. Who else do you throw in there? You throw in Londale, he's making 8. That gets you to about 23, 24 million. That market is going to be really, really hard to make a move that's going to impact the team with the money guys are making now. Like, I really haven't really even looked at the landscape to see who's out there for us to be able to get, but I do foresee them being super active at the trade deadline because Victor Oladipo is hurt. That man coming off of a torn patella tendon, so we already know he's not playing. And if he is, we seen what happened when he come off an injury. We don't need to remind the Rockets fans. Worst was like the worst play in the NBA. Robinson Earl, I actually like him. I think he'd be good for us. I just don't see where he would get minutes over guys we've already invested time in. But if they do flip these guys, like for you, what are some things that you would like to see them do with the salary? Like, do you see any type of player roles or archetypes out there that we need, like that we can get to help us make a play-in or playoff push at the end of the year?
Yeah, for sure. I think watching that Spurs game, and it was quite evident that we need a bruiser type guy. We can't be getting pushed around by the likes of Zach Collins.
Facts.
He really just had his way with us, and really, I would like for them to package all of that together. Maybe even Tate, like you said, and another piece. Throw Boban in there if you have to.
Yeah.
I will be watching guys that's not like strictly bench players because you have what, like you said, 25 million or so to play with. I will be looking like I keep my eye on the Nets since we got their draft picks. Maybe we give them that and one of their draft picks back. Give them Tate, the salaries from Victor Oladipo, JRE, and Londale or whoever, and try to get like a Knicks Claxton. Like, I would like to see a Knicks Claxton come over here. I'll be keeping my eyes on like the Indiana Pacers and see if we can pry our way Miles Turner, guys of that caliber. I think those are the type of caliber guys that we need. Some guys that's actually played a role and is fairly good at that role. Um, let's keep our eye on Cleveland, perhaps. Maybe Jared Allen and Mobley don't fit quite as well as they thought, and they're struggling. Those are the type of players I would try to land with because I think if we get one of those type of archetype of bigs over here, even those type of archetypes can play with Shangoon and can be his weak side defend rim protector when he's lacking or when he's out on the perimeter doing Shangoon type stuff. I don't want to just make a move in the sake of just making a move. Make a move with intent and filling a role and filling that role with quality, because I think we got quantity right now in the center position, but we don't really have that quality of big like we should need. Like maybe even a Nerlens Noel, somebody like that. I think that's the type of archetype of player we do need right now. I think the offense will be the guard spot to be solidified once Jalen is good, and maybe even Cam.
Yeah.
And I know you don't really like we ain't really rocking with Reggie Bullock, but maybe he end up coming into form and showing that guard spot is not as in need as the big guy that I think we need no matter what. I think we need one of them guys.
Yeah, I agree. I think because I go back and forth about who do we really need more, a guard that can, be on the floor and run the show when a man is not in there, when Fred is not in there, or a big man. I would say a big man, and it's not. And people always confuse this. What it's not about Alperen Şengün. Alperen Şengün is fine. It's we have too many of the same type of big man. Like you can't have the Şengün mode as your three bigs. You feel me? Between Landale, Boban, and Jeff Green. Jeff Green can be a stretch five, but you're not going to be able to play long stretches against most of the NBA teams with him playing the five. It's more of a specialty. Like, okay, let's throw this out there, give him a different look. You just want a guy that if Şengün is going to be our like what I call a floater, where he floats around, making plays, switching out, kind of just using his body as a weapon. I would also like to have a guy that's a deterrent at the rim. Like he might not be as maybe mobile or as high IQ as Şengün on the perimeter, but you ain't going in there. Like that gives us a different vibe on defense, so we can switch it up on teams, especially teams that want to attack us in the paint. Because one thing I'm seeing the Spurs kind of expose is teams are drawing out Şengün, using him in the screens, and then attacking the paint because we got short players, and there's really nothing there. And you notice, bro, and this is to your point, the Celtics, they know that's what teams want to do when they run their defense. That's why they had two bigs on the floor at the same time. And the second big was Tom Lord. He would play the rim protector while Al Horford did what Şengün was doing, which is kind of dance on the perimeter, switch out, use his brain to navigate the defense. We don't have that back end because Jabari he ain't that yet. We just need somebody else to be like, hey, bro, you ain't getting an easy dunk. You got to see me when you run to the rim, and then everybody rotate off of that. So I think I think Ime knows this as well. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that money.
Facts. Are you? I'm not gonna say I'm getting because Jabari is my favorite player. You know that on the team right now, but it's something about his defense to where I don't know if he's trying to think too much on his defense, but he don't seem to use his length as well as other guys that's his size to deter shots, to make it hard on defenders. And I guess in the ideal world, you wouldn't really have to trade for nobody like that if Jabari was going to come and show signs that he's going to be that guy. I always give him the KG-ish like defensive mentality, but I think you gotta almost piss him off for him to get there. And I wish he would just naturally come, game in and game out. He's gonna show up and be that defender. But he's young. I'm gonna give him that leeway. But for right now, I'm like Jabari should be contesting and changing more shots than what he is right now.
Yeah, I think he is struggling on the team defense, which is, if you remember, we talked about this so much last year about him that a lot of the plays were blown because of him not just knowing where to be. He was thinking, but before we even recorded this in the Kevin Porter Jr., I was making a thing. I'm gonna attach it to this, and y'all. So after me and Space get done here, y'all gonna watch a little mini breakdown from the first quarter of the game. His rotations are slow. And he's not, when you're not sure about yourself and you play football, bro, the coach always tell you practice so you don't have to think in the game. If you unsure, you're going to get hurt and you're going to be slow. You're not going to use your natural God-given abilities because you thinking, you just standing there, you stiff. He's not fluid yet, where it's just like this second nature to me, where you reacting with your full body. So I'm not going to be worried yet. If this is a pattern like for this whole year, and he's not a defensive player that we thought, then I'd be a little worried. But I'll give him a little more time because he's still young and this is his second year. I like his intensity. I think they all see what he can be as compared to like a Tari Eason, who's more natural. So Tari's not really thinking about what he got to do. He just do it. It's instinctual to him. So he's a little more fluid with it. But we'll see, man. It's a lot of guys. I feel like, Şengün struggling on offense, Jabari's defense, Jalen all around. One thing they're not short of is effort, and that's all you can ask for as these guys learn. Like I bet you every coach out there, everybody plays sports. The saying is, if you're gonna mess up, do it going full speed.
100%.
And 100% mess up. They can't be mad at you for that. So that's what the guys are doing at least for that. So we got the Spurs coming in here Wednesday. Just before we get off, what is your What do you want to see from that game, and how do you think it's going to turn out?
What I want to see is the total opposite of what I seen from the last game. Uh, it was just like we were slow on every aspect of the game. The even the Spurs big guys was out hustling our guards, and just it was just like they was primed up and ready, like it was a national televised game, and we was not. Basically, we was just lofting around like, and you know this from playing sports as well. When you got a key matchup, and you know that number one guy's gonna be there, you get amped up for that. You know, oh, I think they was amped up to see Wemby, and then when Wemby was out, they kind of relaxed. You know, and oh, we ain't gotta go as hard as we would have if Wemby was there. And they came out and got punched in the mouth. Really, every aspect of the game. I wouldn't like on the live stream last night. A lot of people was like, "What are y'all tripping on? We won." Yeah, we won, but it's a way you want to win. You know, it's not that we was upset that we won, because of course we always take a win. But the way we looked winning, it wasn't convincing. You know, it was more like we won, but in spite of all the negatives that was going on, and you kind of got to tip your hat on it. Yeah, they stayed with it, but you don't want it to get to that far. You don't want to get to that point, because that's something you're not going to be able to rely on every game in and game out. So I just want to see more poise, more attention to detail, more of the like know your position, know who you guarding, because it was a lot of times that we didn't see this in the first game. Back cuts getting on us. Uh, we switching late. We don't know if this seemed like we don't know who their shooters was and who their bruisers was like, and they caught us in a lot of mismatches to where they took advantage of us switching. It's like they knew we was going to switch, so they made it a point to get the mismatch in the switch. I want to see us fight over those and stay with your man if possible, because you want to stay with your man as much as possible, because that's your man. That's who you uh, line up the most with. That you can defend or you can take advantage of. So that's what I want to see more, being more cognizant, especially defensively, about just not switching just because we're switching. Switch with a purpose. Come out and hedge. Don't give these guys too much room. We basically was getting out hustled and out shooting from the 3-point line. It wasn't until the backups came in that we started hitting threes and we started making those hustle plays. And with Wemby, I'm expecting Wemby to be there. And with Wemby there, we can't overhelp. We was overhelping so much, especially Jabari. He was overhelping so much into the paint, to where he was just letting the 3-point line like be an afterthought, and they was killing us on that, and they was almost banking on that. So we need to clean up a lot of stuff that I wasn't happy with. For
Yeah.
an Ime Udoka team, that's not what we want to see from.
Dude, you must have been watching the film with me, bro, because everything you just said, I addressed in the film session. I mean, spot on, just to show y'all that, me and Space, we know a little bit something about this game. So just when y'all see this next segment, everything he just said, I literally almost said word for word. Jabari overhelping, the switches, killing. Jabari overhelping. When you go back and rewatch that game, bro, it was like crazy. And you remember, this was the problem they had last year, all of them. And I think maybe it's just them working out those demons from all the bad habits they've had developed under Steven Silas and not learning to be in position. I'm sure over time they're going to watch the film and correct it. I think this game, they're going to be much better. I expect them to be much better. I think that's the hallmark of a good coach, is that you're not going to beat them the same way twice. And I think obviously Popovich is going to make some adjustments. We pray Victor plays. I hope all their starters play so they can get a dress rehearsal with Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell and everybody, with Ty Jones. That team that we're going to play on Wednesday is going to be a different team if everybody plays. So whatever they did against us, we even got to throw that out the window because they're going to up it a little bit with these guys coming in. So, but nah, bro, appreciate you coming through, dropping the heat as usual. The next segment, y'all going to watch the film breakdown from Game 1 versus the Spurs. We will see you guys on the flip side once we play them again. Shout out to all the CSGs. Y'all keep rocking with the Chop Shop. We're going to keep dropping that heat. In this video, I'm going to go over the Spurs versus Houston Rockets. Game 1, I'm going to go over the first half of the first quarter just to kind of see what went wrong on both sides of the court. I do focus a bit on Alperen Sengun's defense and some of the defensive plays a little bit more than offense, just to show, like, I think there's a lot of misguided, like, people that are talking right now. So you want to learn something, tap in right now. So we're going to start off with this play here. I think this is the second possession for the Spurs. Jabari and Sengun there playing the under on Keldon Johnson, 32% three-point shooter. So you're okay with that. Doesn't mean he can't hurt you. You get the switch here onto Keldon by Sengun. Does a great job cutting him off, but their plan is to use our switches against us and try to take advantage of our players. And you're going to see for this one, Keldon believes that Fred is going to be somebody he can work on in the post. And you'll see that he gets his position there. But look where Fred fights him to get the ball. This is what Coach Udoka was talking about doing the pre-work to get guys off their spots. If you have a guy that's taller than you in the post, or wants to switch out and really bully you down, if you let them get feet in the paint before the ball is given to them, it's curtains. And we did that a lot with Zach Collins when he was switched out onto smaller players like Jabari and others. And you'll see that. But with Fred, I want you guys to watch where Keldon is trying to get the ball and where he ends up getting the ball. Look at the distance, just eating up the space by pushing him off his spot. Now Keldon is going to get into his post up. Now, my question is, why? Look at the Rockets. This is not a good position to be in. I know we want to swarm the ball, but you have to really be cognizant of off ball. Great job by Bullocks rotating to cover his ground, and then Jabari pre-rotating to Zach Collins, and this is just a tough shot. But overall, great defensive stance by the team. You live with these shots if they're going to make them in. And I noticed in the first quarter, a lot of the shots that the Spurs were making were tough shots, and you just got to tip your hat to them and live to see another play. On this offensive possession, you get Jabari coming up to set the high screen for Fred. Watch Dillon and Bullocks. So you have Reggie basically doing the fake, I'm going to set a screen for you, but the whole time is to set up this shot for Dillon in the corner without P. So you see that he fakes it. Sohan believes it. And he thinks he's about to get down screened by Reggie, and then all of a sudden you get Alperen then setting the screen for Dillon with his man under leverage and having Sohan having to fight under. Great job by Sohan for fighting through that screen though to get Dillon. This is a shot. He's open. The NBA player should make the shot. That's a good offensive set. So far, we saw a play that they ran good defense. Just the Spurs hit the shot. And you get a play here where Dillon just misses that. It went in and out. That's a great set to run to get a player open shot. You know what I mean? And things like that scale up. You can replace Dillon Brooks with a better shooter, and that shot is going to be a swish. But love the play design there by our coaching staff. Watch this play. You get Alpi at the top of the key. Great lead pass to Fred on almost like a running short roll. You have Keldon Johnson has to come and stop the roll from Fred, which is almost like the tag principles on the pick and roll. And then this opens up a wide open three. I mean, you can't draw it up any better than this. Like I said, just executing the plays till the final part of it, which is making a shot. We just didn't do that. So those are two wide open shots generated through our offense. I know people were complaining about the offensive game plan. They were actually doing pretty good. Guys just weren't hitting shots. So that was a great play. Just got to hit your shots. Once again, great open shot generated by Fred VanVleet here, just attacking and transition, able to find the open shooter and cause the defense to scramble. Gets downhill on Osman, navigates, kick out to Dillon. Great pass by Dillon. Bullock just got to hit this shot, bro. Got to hit that. So that's another open shot that we just didn't get. So Fred had this look all day. This is what the Spurs are playing a slight drop with Collins, and when you play the drop, you can attack the drop with the screens, and there's going to be that space that big man is conceding. These shots are going to put a lot of teams away in late games. If like he was hitting that, I think he shot 50% from the field in this game. That shot is automatic for him. If you guys remember with Chris Paul in Houston, this is kind of his thing. He would just go to that to close out teams. That's why you bring in Fred VanVleet. Let the young guys get you there. Let Jalen score the 30 and Alp get his 20 and 10 and Jabari get his 20 and 10 when it's closing time. That's the put the baby to sleep. So I was glad that he's hitting that shot at an efficient rate, especially with the screener. Like I made a video about Fred VanVleet not having the level of screening that you would want a small guard to have in Toronto with the style of offense they ran. I think you guys are going to see the space that Alperen is going to generate from is going to make him more efficient this year. Okay, you get Collins one-on-one with Alperen Sengun. Want you to watch off ball what happens here. Jabari is sinking into the paint for whatever reason. I have no idea. Probably trying to think about the pre-switching that's about to happen, even though it hasn't happened yet. He's pointing at Fred to take the switch, but Fred is stuck on Osman, and they don't communicate that very well, and that leads to a wide-open jumper for an NBA player. He's 32%, but if you give him wide-open shots, dudes are going to hit that. Dylan Brooks, point of attack defender here. You get a switch with Sokan on Alperen Sengun, and he tries to attack Sengun, able to keep his feet. Fred with the instinctive swipe through and disrupts this play. He gets it back. Alp still keeps his feet. Now you get Jabari. You get a switch there with Fred on Keldon Johnson, able to attack Fred. Why is Jabari that deep in the paint? That's the question there. Why is Jabari that deep in the paint? Right? You can see that's what they used to do last year with the overhelp. I think a lot of this is bad technique from the Steven Silas era. They just have to know. He has to know who his personnel is. Cedi Osman can shoot. So he's trying to cut off the drive there from the player. But really, you have to be able to split the difference between you trying to help and the player that's out there spacing. Because if you get that deep in the paint, that's an open shot for an NBA player. That's overhelp buckets. Okay, you get Keldon Johnson here at the top of the key, trying to attack Jabari. Jabari has his point of attack defender on Keldon. They do a switch with Alperen Sengun, and now he's going to try to attack this. Good feet movement, able to cut him off, then able to switch again onto another ball handler. Great feet movement, kept his a balance, able to contest. That's a great defensive play. That's all you can ask for your big man. That's all. He guarded about 3 people on that play. Just got to get the rebound, end up fouling Zach Collins on the back end, and that was on Fred. So Dylan Brooks was doing a lot of ball watching this game, I think, or he wasn't ball watching. It was more just not really being as focused. The Spurs were cutting on him a lot, using his aggression against him. So they're going to do this dribble handoff here and have Sohan then set the screen with Zach Collins, what they've been doing. Now you got Fred, you got a mismatch here, and that's where they're trying to go. But they do a great job scrambling this. But the problem is that you get 2-on-1. You can see Fred trying to tell Jabari he's supposed to go back. So Collins is rolling with Fred. If you're going to switch this, Jabari's supposed to pick up Collins, and Fred is going to go pick up Keldon Johnson, right? And Fred assumed that was what's going to happen because logically that is what would happen. You have Bullocks there playing the low man, and they're supposed to kind of bang this play, and you see Fred was pointing back like you're supposed to peel back on that for that switch. Just a miscommunication. You get 2-on-1. Dylan Brooks is in no man's land, leads to an open layup for the Spurs. So just communication. That's why you see Fred throwing his hands like, what happened? He's not used to these young guys. That's part of the growth process these guys are going to have. It's going to take some time. It's just going to take time, bro. They just got to get reps together. Once again, just constant movement is really, really hard to guard. Like Fred's man is acting like he's going to come up and set a ball screen, but cuts back door. Fred uses that offhand to keep contact with him so you can flow with him. It's almost like a defensive back. If you're a corner and you're guarding a receiver, you kind of want to keep in the hand. They always teach you to get your hands on them because you can feel their movement. So if they want to cut on you, their body's going to give it away. So that's kind of what you have to have contact there. So great job cutting off that cut to the basket by Fred and Dillon. Dillon pressures the ball. Now you get Zach Collins with the ball. They do another switch, but here's where the switch is and the aggression. You can see a slight pause with Dillon Brooks there. They switch. He doesn't know what's about to happen, because when you switch, usually the player that switches coming from the corner is going to go to the big man for a DHO. So that's what he's assuming. And that little hesitation, bang, got him. Cuts him back door. Great pass by Collins there, leads to a layup. I love that, man. That's basketball. Good basketball there. Dillon just got to be a little bit better at keeping his leverage. Don't give them the path to the basket. Then here's where I don't like about Dillon. You just got scored on. So instead of like resetting and getting the offensive flow, you attack. They damn near 3 people on a bad shot. That's that stuff that we do not want in Houston. So hopefully let's mitigate that. Let the offense run its course. You don't have to go get your get back right now. Those are things we don't want to see. So offensively, Alperen Sengun, he's missing shots that he normally would just destroy on. Not sure what's going on there. He seems like, and coach said, like he's rushing things. Like, that's a layup, bro. You got to make that. He's out of position. They've been physical with him on the interior. He needs to be physical back. Like, bump, get fouled, man. You got to be strong with it. Can't be throwing stuff up. That's not good basketball right there. Control your body. I don't know if his legs are tired, but there's no excuse for that. You got to be able to make these shots and punish them on the other end. We expect that from him, right? So he's struggling offensively throughout the preseason, the entire preseason. But, you love the defense, but we do expect him to be an offensive anchor on the team, because that's really what he's built for. If he's going to give good defense, that's great. But the reason he's special is because of all the stuff he does. He's shown the passing. We got to finish out through. But we do have to give all these guys time to figure out where they fit in the offense, and I don't think he's immune to that. And here on this defensive play here on Zach Collins, this is definitely on him, hands down, man's down. Once again, Collins is not a great shooter, but he can shoot. And we saw this with Valanciunas. Even though Valanciunas wasn't a shooter, I commended Alperen for being up on him at the three-point line, because last year when we played them, he was sagging off. And those guys, these are NBA guys, they'll shoot that shot. So he has to pressure, not like he's Steph, but be up on him so he doesn't feel comfortable shooting the shot. Because if you give him that shot, he's just going to take it. That's a practice shot. Get up on the screen. You could see Coach Udoka called a timeout after that, because what he did after that was sub in Alpi for Jeff Green. Now, usually the starters get subbed out around the 5-minute mark, so he did take him out a bit early. Probably a combination of the offensive things. Even though he's playing great defense, he still seemed unsettled. And I love, kind of the stuff he said post game about trying to get him, letting him know what he did, and you could see the impact on him afterwards. Great coaching, great moment by Ime Udoka. So my general takeaways from the game is that the team, they executed. The Spurs hit some tough shots. A lot of defensive miscommunication went on. I think some of the narratives coming out of the game are a bit misguided. Once again, I think on the defensive side of the court, what really, really hurt us was Zach Collins basically just having his way with Jabari Smith, and really shows a area which Jabari needs to work on, which is just his strength and his ability to really not get pushed back in the post. And that'll come with time. That's really nothing there. Dillon Brooks, overly aggressive with his players. You can't be like super, I'm going to ball pressure you even off ball. If you guys play 2K, there's settings you could put where you guard players, and it tells you, like, if you're aggressively, let's say you want to hard hedge, or you're gonna how you pressure the shooters, how close you want to the shooter. It tells you the downsides to that on 2K. It'll be like, if you play him tight or extra tight, whatever that setting is, that you're going to be susceptible to cuts. If you play him too off, it's going to be susceptible to getting shot on. So he was playing all the players extra tight. Like, these dudes are not the Splash Brothers. So you got to kind of know your personnel as well. But, all in all, we won the game. Great game by our young guys. Amen really flashed what he could be. And you get to see that shot going in. It really changes the game for him, in my opinion. Like, that's a great sign for Amen Thompson to be able to shoot that shot with confidence. I said this on the live stream. For the rest of the guys, just execute better. I expect them to be able to play better in this game against the Spurs. We'll probably do a preview of that game in another video, but just wanted to get through some of the film to show really how the game went off the rocker to start. You know what I mean? It kind of started off, it wasn't as bad as it looked on the next day on film. They just didn't execute well and some poor communication. So hopefully they can clean that up, and hopefully Wemby plays on Wednesday. But appreciate y'all. Just want to do a little film review. If you're listening to this video at this point, hit the like button. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe. Keep rocking with the Chop Shop. We're going to keep dropping that fire.